So, hello there everyone and welcome, it is Niran here, and today it is time for me to bring you yet another World Cup mode video here on FIFA 18. Now, as you can see from the title, it's not exactly going to be portraying it in the most positive light. This game mode has come under quite a lot of criticism and had very, very mixed reviews since it dropped on Tuesday, I believe. If I've got that wrong, then I'm going to look like an absolute idiot, but I think it was Tuesday. I've had some time now to play the game myself, and I've managed to compile a list of things that really grind my gears about this game mode. So if you are new to the channel, make sure to subscribe and slap a like on a video if you go on to enjoy it, because I'm sure some of these things are going to be shared opinions with you guys. Speaking of the World Cup though, this video is once again sponsored by OneFootball, so a footballing app that gives you news, results, fixtures, all that sort of stuff about chosen teams that you can designate when you actually get the app yourself. As I mentioned, this video is sponsored by them, so go and check out the link in the description below and you can download the app on either the App Store or on Android. However, it is time to get into the video proper now, and as I mentioned, I'm going to be compiling a list of things I dislike about this game mode. So first of all, and one that I think is, although can't really be attributed to one specific thing, is probably the most important about this entire thing, right? And that is that there's actually a very limited feeling of an actual World Cup. I don't know what it is about this game mode. It might be that this World Cup has been quite badly marketed, generally speaking, so to some people it doesn't really feel like there is a World Cup this year. But this game mode really doesn't do a very good job of grasping the fact I don't know what it is. I really don't know what it is. I think it might just be because it's so limited, which I'll get onto in a moment. But when you look at the menu and you look, I don't know, it just doesn't seem very different to the normal game. You know, I don't know what. If we look at the menu, for example, what is the difference? You know, you've got a new option on the menu, and the background has some flags at the top. That is it. It doesn't feel like, do you know what I mean? I don't know how to describe it, but it really just doesn't have a World Cup vibe at all. In-game, slightly more, the fans are wearing afros of, wigs of whatever, of the country they're supporting, and they've got it on their faces and stuff painted, and all that malarkey, and the atmosphere in-game is slightly different, but it really doesn't carry off a very good World Cup vibe at all, and that really is, in my opinion, one of the most important things, and one of the most important reasons as to why I'm not massively into it yet, anyway, is just because it really doesn't seem, I don't know, it just doesn't give off a World Cup vibe, even though that's what the whole DLC is about. I did touch upon it, but it's very limited. This is the second thing, okay, cool, this impacts Ultimate Team, and you can generally speaking just play through a World Cup, but that is it. So like, what else is there even to do with this DLC? There's absolutely nothing in career mode about it at all, which I would have loved to have seen. When you consider the fact that this update was so big in terms of actual file size, the actual amount of stuff that has been added is really quite minimal, and as I mentioned, career mode has had nothing done to it at all to represent this. The menus have changed slightly, the graphics have changed, there's a couple more cutscenes now when you start games, and you can just play through the tournament. You could have just done that on the game anyway. The only difference is that you've now got a couple of extra teams that weren't on the game in the first place, and you've got cool graphics. So it, in my opinion, is extremely limited, and the fact there isn't any career mode content for it whatsoever is quite frustrating, and arguably the World Cup that you would do in a career mode is far more in detail than the one in the DLC, which is a bit of a shocker, quite frankly. The fact there's no qualifying stages is another huge one. I remember playing the 2006 World Cup in Germany, the official game for that on PlayStation 2, and the fact that you could actually do like the qualifying stages and the actual road to the tournament was incredible. It meant that you could play as like one of 200 teams, and it was so much more rewarding when you inevitably actually won the tournament. I mean, all you have to do is play 7 games and win all of them, and that's it. You've completed the game mode in terms of offline. That's literally it. We'll get onto Ultimate Team in a moment, but in terms of the offline stuff, it's just 7 games. So if you had the qualifying stages as well, it would just be so much better, and the fact that that isn't there is just, it's just a killer. Like, it really is a killer. that is what is going to lose its replayability, if you like. Its replay value is the fact that after you've played 7 games, you've done it. That's it. Sorted. Bam. It's going to die so quickly. Thing number 4, I'm going to, be pretty brief on this one because it's pretty self-explanatory, but the gameplay is far more clunky, in my opinion. I don't really like the gameplay in comparison. I don't know whether that's just because the update itself has brought an actual gameplay update, and the normal version of the game will now be like this as well, but I'm not a fan of the gameplay. The gameplay on FIFA 18, generally speaking, is absolutely horrendous. I genuinely don't understand how they managed to mess it up from the start of the game cycle, in which was a lot more entertaining. It is such a struggle to get games where you get more than 2 goals on FIFA 18. It's unbelievable, to the point where I've actually had to change the sliders to make games infinitely more open and end-to-end for the series that I do, and just when I'm playing in my leisure as well. It's so boring playing FIFA when you're not recording a video, as far as I am concerned, so it's a bit frustrating in that sense, and yeah, in my opinion, the gameplay is a little bit more clunky than the normal version of the game, or certainly before the update came out anyway. Although it is commendable as well that the game mode sees quite a few new players getting face scans, there's still far too many players that don't have face scans. I know people like Yuri Tielemans and Dries Mertens and a couple of other players have got actual face scans who didn't have them before. I think Ousmane Dembele as well was another one actually who for some reason didn't have a face scan. Thomas Lemar as well has now got one for France, and that's great, and that's going to be good going forward into FIFA 19 as well, but there's still plenty that need that. And in a similar sort of vein, I guess, whatever point this is, I've lost count now, but there's so many players that don't have pictures on the game. I really don't understand why. Like, they have an actual picture for Harry Winks because it's on the game. So how have they not got one for World Cup mode? It makes literally 0 sense to me. But there's far too many players in different rosters, and well-known players as well, that actually don't have faces. It's such a small thing, but it really gets on my nerves again. The teams are so inaccurate, it is unbelievable. Pope, the 3rd choice goalkeeper in the England team, isn't even in the update. He's in the 23-man squad. He's going to be at the World Cup, yet Michail Antonio's in the team. Michail Antonio isn't even in the provisional one. So why on earth is he on the game? It should be the actual teams, the actual squads, 23-man squads that are going to the tournament that should be represented in the DLC. Why are they taking actual players who are actually going out and putting players in that aren't even going? Why is Alexander Lacazette in it? He isn't going with France. There's no point in him being there. They've removed scenario mode as well. That used to be a thing. I think it was on the 2014 update where you could actually play out things that happened at the real life tournament or change history, and it was so much more immersive. This add-on doesn't have that, it's taken it out. So again, it's so limited. All you can do is Ultimate Team stuff and then just carry out the tournament. Well, you're going to get bored of winning the World Cup after like 3 attempts with different teams. So at least having that in would keep it fresh whilst the tournament's actually going on. One Ultimate Team exclusive issue is the fact that the pack weighting is absolutely ridiculous. It is so unbelievably easy to get really good players, like really good players in packs on Ultimate Team. And that's great, but it's not even remotely rewarding getting a good side because you can just open about 8 packs and have a side that is literally 83 or above. Genuinely, the pack weighting is utterly ridiculous, and I get why, because there's less players in the database than on the normal version of the game. But something then needs to be done to make sure it is still difficult. Everyone's going to have ridiculously good sides literally after the first couple of days, and it's not rewarding getting any decent players and having a good side on Ultimate Team now. Generally speaking, the issue here really is that just not enough is put into this. That really is the crux of the issue. There just isn't actually enough content in this add-on, and for me that is why it needs to be a standalone game. It doesn't obviously earn as much money for EA when it's a standalone game because there's not going to be microtransactions within it as there is for the add-on for Ultimate Team. People are going to go crazy and open loads of packs and buy FIFA points, and that's all that's fine and dandy, but to just not die after 2 weeks, it has to be a standalone game. End of story. With the road to the World Cup in it, with the qualification, with stuff like scenario mode, with actual accurate flipping squads and rosters, with decent gameplay. That, though, is my opinion on the World Cup mode. Let me know what you think down in the comment section below. I know it's kind of split opinion as to whether it's good or bad. In my opinion, it's not necessarily bad, but it's extremely average. Like, extremely average. So average, in fact, that it hurts. But let me know down in the comment section again. Slap a like on the video as well if you did enjoy, and subscribe if you are new to the channel. You can follow me on social media these days as well. My Twitter handle is @theofficialfng, links are down below, and my Instagram is exactly the same. Once again, this video was sponsored by OneFootball, so massive shout out to them. Thank you very much to those guys. You can download the app, sorry, with the link in the description. But it's been a pleasure ranting at you guys today. Have a great day, enjoy yourselves, and goodbye.
I roll out with some monsters. Looks like your team and you watchers. I do not roll with imposters. Sound like the man in the Oscars. I'm drunk off Henny and Fosters. I have a career, I am jobless. This bitch f me so hard, I might just end up unconscious. I like girls in lingerie, especially if it is crotchless. Bitch, I am the bigger picture. There is no way you can crop us.